Can you actually trust withdrawal method to prevent pregnancy? In this video, I'm going to talk about what withdrawal method is. I'm also going to talk about the statistics, how effective it is for people. And I will also talk about how you can make it more effective for you and other alternatives if it is not something that can work for you. Hi guys, my name is Melody and I'm a registered nurse. So what is withdrawal method? Withdrawal method is where the male partner withdraws his penis just before he ejaculates. So the idea is to prevent the sperm from actually entering the vagina. So you withdraw before ejaculation, thereby preventing pregnancy. Now let's talk about the statistics. So it is estimated that withdrawal method has about 4% failure rate. However, this number jumps up if it is something that you are using every now and then. If it is like the person's only form of contraception, if you don't have any alternative, you've been trying your luck using it every now and then, that number jumps to about 20%, which means about 1 in 5 people who use this as their only form of contraception will be pregnant. So 1 in 5 people will get pregnant if they are using withdrawal method. What do you think? Do you think it's a good number? Is it something that you can risk? So personally for me, I think 1 in 5 makes it a very, very unreliable method of contraception. Now, some of the reasons why this method of family planning has this number of failure rates is: 1, there's something called pre-ejaculation fluid. This is the fluid that comes off before the actual ejaculation. Now, this fluid can contain a very small amount of sperm. I mean, it's not typical, but it is not out of place for this fluid to actually contain a little bit of sperm from it. So while you are there going, waiting for the ejaculation, some amount of sperm would have already gone inside. So that is one of the reasons why it can fail. And also, still on this, let's say you've gone the first time and you're trying to go for the second round now. It means that the sperm that were remaining from the first ejaculation left in your urethra will now go in before you even ejaculate again. So if you are going for the second time, this is something that you have to keep in mind. Another big reason why this method of contraception fails is because of timing and control issues. Remember, this says you are going with the flow and then you are expected to stop just at the peak of it. So this is why it fails, because some people, even though they already agreed, they want to stop, they can't. So it's a lot of pressure on them to actually stop. So for people who are new to it, who doesn't know how to control this, it is going to fail. They are going to end up ejaculating inside of their partner. Another reason is education. Some people are not educated about how this method actually works. I know it says nobody is going to physically come and teach you how to do it, but you need to have make a little bit of research on what to do, what not to do, the best time to stop. So before you actually try it, make sure you've been educated enough, you and your partner understand what you are trying to do, because pregnancy is not something that you want to risk. So considering the failure rate of this method of contraception, all the do's and don'ts, imagine playing football and you are told not to score just when you are about to score. So considering all of this, why is this still a method of family planning that people go for? Are they not scared? Do they not know what they are doing? But here are some of the reasons why it is still the best method for some people. One of them is it is natural. There's no hormones involved. Nobody is putting anything in your uterus. Nobody is doing any vasectomy. So for some people, they feel like it's something that they can do. Another one is intimacy. So some people want to have intimacy with their partner. They don't want any barrier like condoms. They want it skin to skin. So they don't want that. They go for a withdrawal method. Also, it is cost-free, it is cheap, you don't have to access it in any way. And for people who are religious, some religions do not allow you to actually have other forms of family planning. So they end up having to use a withdrawal method as their form of family planning. And for most couples that you hear, you find out that they've used this method for years and years and it has worked for them. So it's something to actually be experienced with before you can trust it. Now to the best part, I'm going to talk about how you can make withdrawal method work for you. The first one I'm going to talk about is communication. So for you and your partner, you should have already agreed that this is what we are going to do. It's not during the game that you will discuss how you will score goal. It is before the game. So they should already know whether the man and the woman, this is, so that when you need to come out, you need to come out before anything happens. Another one is to practice awareness. Don't try to use this as a form of contraception. You should have already know what it looks like for you to ejaculate. What are the signs that you are going to ejaculate? Do you understand what to do before you go to use this method as a form of contraception? To understand your body very well. So which means before you use it, you need a bit of experience with sex before you use a withdrawal method as a form of contraception. Another thing to avoid if you must use this method of contraception is alcohol. Like, alcohol is something that impairs our judgment. So if you are going to use withdrawal method, make sure you are not drunk, you are not on any drug, because this method, you need to be very precise, quick before you can work. So if you must use it, make sure you are not under the influence of alcohol. Another thing I'm going to say is to consider the timing of your partner's menstrual cycle. Now, by doing this, now you are kind of combining two methods of contraception together to make it more effective. So what I'm trying to say here is, for example, a partner would have their free days where they are not ovulating, or they are far apart from their ovulation days. Those are the best days that you can use withdrawal method. But if you know that somebody is going to ovulate that same time that you are doing that method, it is very, very risky. I mean, I've told you that 1 in 5 will result in pregnancy. Why do you even want to risk it? So make sure that your partner's cycle is considered. Should you trust withdrawal method as a form of contraception? My answer is no. Statistics tells us that 1 in 5 people who use that method will get pregnant. 1 in 5. That means if 5 people use that form of contraception today, 1 of them is already pregnant. So it is not something that I think you should trust. Now you still see some people say, oh, I've been using this method for 5 years and it has been working for me. Just pray that you don't become that 1 in 5 that they are talking about. Honestly, if there are other forms of family planning that you can explore, if you're actually serious that you don't want to have a child, there are other forms of natural family planning that you can explore, or you can use them alongside. For example, knowing the safe period of your partner when they are safe to have sex without actually getting pregnant. That is something that you can combine alongside withdrawal method. And within the days where you feel like your partner will get pregnant, you avoid having sex, or you can use other forms of contraception like condom. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're following my page if you've seen this video. Bye bye.